everyone, welcome to Show and Sell, the show that celebrates digging through other people's trash. Hello, everyone. I am Chris, Trash Dragon of the West. This is my guitar, Mr. Blankenship. Thank you, Mr. Blankenship. Thanks for being here. What is that? Oh, I sell on eBay and Discogs, mostly media. And my favorite book growing up was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Katie, the same questions to you.
Oh, I am the Trash Dragon of the South, and I love to shop and sell for mainly apparel and accessories, but I like all kinds of cool and interesting and unique items, and anything sparkly usually catches my eye. My favorite book growing up was, when I was little, was The Little Prince. I loved it. And then I therefore also loved the film with Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't even know he did a Little Prince film.
He did. It's brilliant.
As far as I know, he did Young Frankenstein and Willy Wonka, and that's it.
Brilliantly, by the way.
He had a number of hits in the 80s, including Bustin' Loose with Richard Pryor.
He had a string. He had a Silver Streak on, as well, with Richard Pryor, about trains.
Yeah, they had. I think they had like three.
Yeah, three or four films.
No, he didn't do. Did he do Blazing Saddles? Am I wrong?
Yeah, he's in Blazing Saddles. He's the gun for hire that's in the jail, the alcoholic. He becomes the friend of the sheriff.
And Blazing Saddles written by Richard Pryor.
But Joe, who are you?
My name is Joe. I'm the Trash Dragon of the East. Pow! Being the East Coast of the United States of America. And I, although I'm not on the coast, I'm actually about 100 miles inland. Whatever. We'll gloss that over. And I buy whatever. I'm not like, I don't have a specialty. I'll buy clothing. I'll buy records. I have a bunch of crazy hats right now that I'm eyeballing. I just got out of storage. That I really show. Why not? I'm just going to show one of these hats right now. It's this crazy tam, handmade by this woman who she was an antiques dealer. Here, I'll put it on Francis.
Please do.
Here we go.
Hello, milady. Hey, hello, milady. It's all your tam o' shanter is very nice.
Thank you very much.
Do you have some brown bread for my butter?
Sure. One moment, please.
Go to poop from brown bread in a backyard.
Okay, here it is. Anyway,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
Hats incredible.
It was.
You're welcome.
So yeah, it's a really good. I got a whole bunch of them. It was with this woman who used to do. She would make these hats and she would sell them at one of the flea markets in New York. Apparently, like models would come and buy these hats from her. Like models would come and pay like $150 to $200 a piece for these hats. I'm not getting $250 a hat, $200 a hat for these, but they are quite nice. I like them a lot.
Yeah,
models of like hat models.
They were they were just like fashion models. Like
the mannequins would shuffle their way into the store.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like the movie Mannequin. They were like,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I had to add one more thing. Favorite book is also probably, there's a lot of Nancy Drew books, but also Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, very influential. And my natural hair color when I was born was blonde. When it turned when I was about 7 or 8. So
I was also wildly blonde.
Several years.
Yeah,
all three of us were towheads. We were all three wildly blonde.
I always thought like that was just like a pointy headed, but they were like, oh, it's blonde, which is weird way.
Pointy headed, like The Point. Have you seen the Point? The movie, The Point.
I know. No. I know the soundtrack.
By Harry Nelson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have it memorized. That was one of my favorite movies.
Me and My Arrow. Like you've heard the song "Me and My Arrow," Joe. I'm sure.
Well, I know the Nelson album, The Point, but I didn't know it was like. I didn't know it was a soundtrack.
Animated. Yeah,
it's an animated film.
So why don't we move on to the item that brought us joy? Joe, would you like to go with the item that brought you? Excellent.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
So I was at a thrift store that had a lot of like cheap, like 25-cent paperbacks and 25-cent paperbacks, 50-cent hardcovers, and I was like, yeah, it's probably been picked through, but it probably was. But I also found some real good stuff, including I found a Lumpanics book. Lumpanics, if you don't know, was a publisher of like they would
remember
publish
Bloom
books like
Panics.
Silent Death about poisoning, and it would be like, and
Oh,
they also
It was like a '90s imprint, right?
yeah, eventually they were bought by Paladin Press. There's a really interesting podcast about Paladin Press called, oh, I can't remember the name of it.
tell me it's called the
Hit.
Palatine Papers. It better be called the Palatine Papers, or they
No, no,
didn't
no.
do it right.
It's called Hitman because it's about somebody who used one of the Paladin Press books, how to like be a contract murderer in order to kill their wife. And it's a terrifying. I mean, it's a great
Whoa.
podcast. I
Yeah,
strongly recommend Hitman as a true crime podcast.
I'm writing it down.
And it's because it touches on a lot of the things I like.
Is the podcast named Hitman? Is
Yes,
named after Woody Harrelson's dad, who was a contract killer.
There you go.
Wasn't it rumored that he was involved in the Kennedy assassination?
Yeah, that you got me on that one.
I think so.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
why not? Let's spread that.
Backing up. So, in addition to this Lumpanics book, this particular one was called "How to Bodyguard," which was I didn't really look through it. They also had this, which is called "Techniques of Harassment," and it's not Lumpanics. It's like part of the. It's basically part of like there was like a whole 1970s, 1980s counterculture, publications where it's just like akin to this book called the School Stoppers Textbook, where it's just like, here's just annoy the crap out of people. And it's just like, it's basically like the incel guide to guide to life at this point.
Yeah, incels aren't new. They were just like they couldn't find each other.
Yeah.
Right. And so the way they found each other was writing these books. What is this book?
I mean, it's more like this is just for like for people that were into culture jamming and anarchy and so here, for example, handbills and circulars. The main idea is to print up advertisements for recyclables. For variety, you could include a coupon at the bottom of the sheet for listing the contributor's name, address, the items brought in, their cash value at 10 cents per beer can. This could add up to quite a bit. And whatever else seems appropriate to put on a coupon. Then print up 1,000 and distribute it to every store in town. So, you basically...
you're just trying to get free cans delivered to your house or brought to your house.
No, to somebody else's house.
Oh, because I've heard the common one of that is like the ordering 100 pizzas to someone's house and they're like, I didn't order this pizza. So you're basically mainly just screwing over the pizza place and slightly annoying someone who doesn't want 100 pizzas.
This is just filling up their front porch with bags of cans.
Yeah.
That is pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's basically annoying. Just bags of cash in metal form. Go ahead.
Tens of pennies that you'll get for those cans. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was I remember there was a whole industry of kind of like, there was also, that was the heyday of kind of prank calls and just annoying people. Anyway, Katie, what brought you joy today or this week?
It's kind of weird. So I think I mentioned a few episodes back that I found this artist that does pictures of horror movie villains with cats.
Yes.
Right, yes.
But what I found even better was, now they're all 8x10, and I found it's a very strange consignment / antique mall. There's an antique like vendor booths downstairs, and then upstairs it appears to be the owners of the store have this massive floor, and then the second floor below is booths. So it's sort of split both ways. Also, apparently there's like a really long waiting list to get a booth there. That's another story. But this is in Kentucky. They upstairs in the owner's area, they have these bundles of frames that are haphazardly taped together, but you can get 5 kind of amazing frames for $3.95.
Oh, wow.
It's a great deal. That's the best deal because I'm a frame painter anyways. I'll always paint to whatever I'm doing. So I need cheap and a little bit interesting. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
don't want
absolutely.
Dollar Tree frames. They
Right.
never look as good, and I
Like
would like to have
the mirror you got in the background there is a good, like, interesting, eye-catching frame. It's cool.
There's some, and if you can get, and I always like finding a place to get cheap frames. I used to have a really good Goodwill that had so many frames, all sizes, and then for some reason they reorganized their store, and now there's hardly any frames, and I'm like, why? You were the one, and now they're gone. It's fine.
You were the chosen one, Goodwill.
You were the one. And so I've been sort of painting them and getting them ready, but you can kind of, here's Pinhead. Oops. Okay, here's Pinhead.
Oh.
And he's got his cats and he's smiling a little bit. And then
This is the only thing that brings him, like, there's another Cenobite who has a permanent smile because of how the nails.
this is
Okay.
Jason.
Who is this? Jason?
Jason.
With a cat?
Right. Yeah, he's on the ground. And then the pièce de la résistance, I can't say that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then I painted all these. So these are all like in process or done. Because this frame was so much better than all the rest, and it's really beautiful, like black onyx. And then
right, yeah, like it's kind of Art Deco-y, yeah.
It's very old and pretty, but this was mixed in with all these other frames. It's kind of a gold mine. If you need frames, let me know. But this is Ash. This is Evil Dead. And so this is it's pretty good. And they even have the little skeleton cats down here.
Oh.
I mean, they're very detailed for whatever the movie is. It's awesome. And it looks like Ulysses is hanging off him. So it's very exciting.
Off of his boomstick?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty. I'm very pleased with how they turned out, but I'm even more pleased that I was able to get frames for them because it's kind of, it's the kind of thing when you're looking for it, you're not going to find it.
Yeah.
It seems like every time I'm looking specifically for frames or because I've gotten a great book or something that I'm going to, use part of it or whatever, they're nowhere to be found. So this was a lucky find. And they also had packets of small frames, which are also hard to find. Interesting ones that are very small, like the little tiny, like 2x4, 3x5s to hold tiny pictures, which look good in a gallery wall to have those little ones. And so those, they have like bags of them of maybe like 10 to 12. And those are also $3.95. It's a gold mine. This place is a great find. I was very excited. Yeah. But what was your item, Chris? What was your item enjoy?
That is a good question. Here. This is a little bit of an older find. This is one of my things I love is I love cooking and I love cookbooks and I love picking them up. Let's see. So I don't know. It's a cookbook of Granilla Gunnar Jarl compiled by a bunch of people. So it's just this woman, and this is becoming a little bit more of
naked? Is she in the nude? Is she
nude? No, she's just wearing light, kind of flesh-colored crepe. So there's clothes, and she's also wearing pearls because she classy.
What century is she from?
The century where they would hand write their recipes, and this is basically the cookbook is just like all these kind of like handwritten recipes that they just like took and just literally just photocopied. It's just like this is a kind of thing you look out for in cookbooks is kind of old kind of grandma recipes. If you can find like handwritten box of recipes, those can sell or will sell, and because people want like to feel authentic. To get authentic. Yeah, it's just like this is someone who wanted to make this out of love, not a professional chef who can't give them the real recipe because otherwise, like, why would they come to my restaurant?
It makes total sense.
Yeah,
it's really, there is something very authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why my one suggestion for cookbooks is get the teachers, not the chefs. You get Marcella Hazan for Italian, Maudher Jeffrey for Indian, Julia Child for French, like Mark Bittman, like people who don't have they can give you their best version of a recipe and it doesn't affect them at all.
Please see the show notes below for Chris's recommendations for chefs and various cuisine.
Exactly. So that is my thing that brought me joy. So back and we are onto the topic part of our show, and that topic is showing off some wild thrift shirts that we have found. And
Why didn't you tell me we were going to talk about this?
sorry, Joe.
Oh my god!
All right, next time I thought I texted you, but I guess I didn't. But we're gonna start with Katie. Katie, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. This
What do you
is
got?
Oh,
believe it or not,
Wow.
Francesca.
Wow, that is a 70s outfit.
This is a silk glorious shirt with featuring a large clock.
Right.
Time on
No,
wow!
that is
Oh
amazing.
my
all
god!
the way around. It is incredibly detailed. There's also time on the sleeves.
Oh,
Oh,
nice!
you'll never forget that time exists.
No, I refuse to get rid of this shirt.
That's
Why
so
would
good.
Years.
Why would
I've
you?
never worn it.
Is there a reason you're like, oh, it smells like cat pee?
No, I think just I do tend to move things that don't, because this went from thrift store to my personal closet, never to a selling area. I was like, no, it's either mine or it's getting given to someone who thinks it's amazing. That's sort of the plan for it.
Right.
But I've had it for 2 years and I just haven't worn it. But now maybe I might. I've broken the seal. It's here. And they seem to be. I couldn't figure out the woman's story, the designer's story. It was something she was born in Russia, I believe.
Yes, very good.
And then it was Russia or Ukraine, and then came here and just made a bunch of crazy silk shirts. But I found another one that's currently online, even though I did find this in an actual thrift store, another one online that's just paintbrushes, and all the paintbrushes have the paint swirling around the shirt. I know.
Wow.
I might have to do a bit on that. It was really good.
What's
It's
it
really
going for?
excellent. And it wildly varies what people think they're worth. Because if I was to list this, I would list it very high. But some people seem to think that they're not worth any money, and I find that rude. I think they're lovely. I think that woman worked very hard to design this intricate clock, and she did a good job.
You've got a very low rude threshold, though.
I do, especially for artists. She did something with this, and she made it out of silk, so she wanted it to be for a nice lady.
Since Joe seems to have forgotten his outfit, I'll go with mine. And so you just need to. So this is a Hawaiian shirt. It's not that crazy, but one of the reasons I wanted to kind of show it off is that I just think the behind the scenes story is a little bit interesting. So this shirt was designed by noted mafia rat Henry Hill. This is from the Henry Hill collection of shirts.
Henry Hill of Goodfellas fame.
Of Goodfellas fame, yes.
The
half Irish, half Sicilian or Italian gentleman who eventually took down a whole arm of the New York Mafia and now lives...
Propane accessories.
Yes. So I just found the shirt and I was just like, and I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, he has a line of shirts. And they're fine and they go for pretty good money. But yeah, this is a shirt designed by a guy who destroyed the mafia. But I also decided to put another shirt under that just because
you cheated. That's cheating.
No, it's not. I didn't say I couldn't. You couldn't do this.
Oh, next time.
As someone who always. So it says.
Oh, that's
Star Booty.
That's RuPaul's movie.
Star Booty?
Isn't it?
You know more about RuPaul than I do, but this is Milo Gets a Haircut. It's the Descendants logo of Milo, if you know the punk rock band The Descendants. I wanna a suburban home.
I like food. Food is good. I like food. Food is good.
So I just thought it was funny, but this is basically just for a St. Petersburg haircut establishment that they just took the shirt, they just took the icon, put Milo on there, and then just put, I don't know, it says Star Booty, and I just thought it was fun.
Star Booty is indeed a 1987 low-budget underground film trilogy starring and co-produced by a then unknown drag queen, RuPaul.
Wow. Oh. And when you see early video of RuPaul, it's just like amazing. Just like the star power oozes out of RuPaul. And you're just like, oh, of course. Yeah. When RuPaul became a star, you're like, yep, of course.
Yep. Born a star.
Joe, I assume you have something under that
before I move
silk
on,
shirt.
I just want to point out that like I like the idea of like of an establishment like sort of like infringing on somebody's copyright, like in this case, Star Booty,
Yep.
the hair salon. First of all, infringing on the copyright of RuPaul for the low budget
You bet.
their low budget drag
Trilogy,
race.
apparently.
The
Yeah.
trilogy.
I'm just waiting to talk about Joe's look.
His,
And I'm calling it a look.
him phoning it in. Yeah, go ahead.
It is a look. The 2 words that I wrote down here on my orange paper are New Orleans. New Orleans. Is that where this came from?
I wish.
Did it
but
come with a
first of all,
vest? Is my second question. Is there a vest that goes with it?
there's not. The hat I should get rid of because it was just retail. So
it does add some je ne sais quoi to the outfit, though.
It does. It
does
really
add
does.
je ne sais quoi. I mean, when you're
Worth
wearing a
it.
purple shirt, it's hard to you want to you want something to accent that, and a
Right.
purple derby was perfect.
You should come out for the raid party Princemas, where it's all about Prince and Christmas. That would be a perfect outfit.
I used to
I
have
have something to say
pants.
about Prince at the end of this, but wait. I have something. Just don't remind me. I have something important to say about Prince, but I don't want to cut Joe off.
Okay, so go explain your.
So the shirt came from a thrift store in Youngstown, Ohio. I was passing through, checking their racks, and it's like it opens pretty early. I think it's like 8 or 9. It's a Salvation Army, and it's like not too far off the interstate. So when I would drive via I-80 to get to Wisconsin, I would usually have an overnight about an hour away, and so I would like swing by there to peruse it. And, hit and miss. They had some really good stuff, and this was on the racks. I was like, I have to have that purple shirt.
Why?
So, there was one parade I went to dressed in the derby and the shirt. I think I had purple pants as well. It was a Minnesota parade, so everybody assumed it was Vikings themed. That my outfit was Minnesota Vikings themed, and I just sat there and just
Prince.
What's that?
Or Prince. Isn't Prince live in Minnesota?
Yep.
Sorry,
He does live in Minneapolis, but this was not. This was about an hour and a half away from Minneapolis, so people were just like Vikings. It was a small town, and like any small town parade, I just sat. People were chucking candy, and of course, the guy with the purple shirt who's like, "Pardon me, may I get some candy?" Everybody's happy to chuck a bunch of candy there, so I got
absolutely.
You're just elbowing kids out of the way to get the candy.
There were not a whole lot of kids by me, so that was a great thing about it.
That's probably good in that shirt.
But yeah, so that's where I got this, and then underneath, I also did. I did this.
See, you gotta just claim. You're too used to asking permission, Katie. You just gotta claim it.
And then this is just like a nice. This is like a nice patterned short sleeve. I got. I don't know what year it's from. It's probably from like it's either from the 80s or the 90s. I got it at a thrift store in Springfield, Illinois, when I used to work at the Illinois State Fair.
Right.
Because when you work at the Illinois State Fair, you're there for 2.5 weeks, and you don't have a whole lot to do. So you just basically you go to movies, and you go to the thrift store, and you go to movies, and you go to the thrift store, and then you do it again and again and again and again and again. And so I found this shirt, and I was really taken with it. And
what's the pattern? I'm having a hard time determining what.
Close.
Thank you.
It's just a nice It's just sort of a nice.
Just a cool, fun pattern.
Yeah, it's just a cool, fun, busy pattern. But I've had it for over 20 years now, and
that's the best.
Yeah.
I was telling someone about how you used to do extreme deep frying experiments when you were you come back, we're like, we're just like, let's see what we can deep fry, because if it was a hit, you could have started because deep fried pickles, deep fried Oreos were a thing around that time, and you're like, let's see what else we could deep fry. Pushing the limits,
batter it, which is the problem. Like we had we did deep fried Zagnuts, for example. It's like, what happens when you put a Zagnut in the deep fryer?
No, just dissolve.
What's that?
Just dissolves, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
just
It dissolves, and then you have to like strain all the coconut off, and then you have to drain the oil and get rid of it, and like change the oil.
oh,
So
yeah.
not a great idea to deep
Yeah.
fry a zag nut.
Yeah.
But I have something to say about Prince really quick before we move away from the purple shirt completely. Sorry. Also, have you worn that purple shirt to like a wedding or where have
No,
you
I've
worn
worn it just off and on, but I never wore it to a wedding.
It's so
I
flashy. It's
Yeah, I don't
great.
want to. I don't want to distract from the bride.
It will.
You know,
It will
if there's one thing I've
distract
learned
from the
from
bride.
Reddit, it's that you don't want to like compete with the bride for attention.
No. And it's something that Joe needs to be careful of in that purple shirt.
Very much. I
That's
am,
pretty-
as we've been saying on the house lately, I am at the height of my erotic powers.
Yeah,
So
exactly. True. Good to know. So,
so watch out.
watch out,
That
everybody.
needs to
Watch
be a
out,
t-shirt.
everyone.
Also, that really needs to be a t-shirt.
I'm at
at
the
the
height
height
of
of
my
my
About
erotic
my
powers.
erotic powers.
TM. As
All right,
we've said
TM.
many times, everything discussed on the show is automatically trademarked.
Thank you. Especially
So
if it's clever.
yeah, exactly.
Clever.
Especially it's going to make them moony. So let's go on to the discussion topic, which is a little bit of a weird one, but I want to see what you
Wait,
guys have to say. Go ahead.
just a little quick side. We've actually had an idea for a dog shirt for a while that Hannah
Okay.
has sketched out with Francis, his doing a cartoon version of Francis, and it's just Francis sitting there, and he's got a shirt that says "Body by Dog Food."
Yeah. Yes, correct.
So fine. I'm going to do one more thing, which is I thought of this way too late, but I feel like there is 100% a movie where Prince owns a giant castle in the middle of nowhere, and it's a gothic horror film, like kind of something Vincent Price would have been in. But
Oh my
it's
God.
Prince. Just imagine him coming down the stairs of a wet, bedraggled couple coming out of the rain, a la Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he's just like, "Hello, my darlings," just kind of being weird. And there's like all these sexy women around, and no one knows what to do. And I'm just like, there's a kind of like, I'm just like that. I don't know what the story is, but like there is a, if he was still
There's a
alive,
something there. There's the beginning of a something.
as well.
But I also think, by the way, Francis should consider a calendar at this point.
I do
And that
too.
could be January. The Body by Dog Food. You should consider that.
That's
How
but
photogenic
no,
is
it should be like in the summer because that's when you shave so you can see his abs.
Oh, that'd be great. It'd be so cute. Seriously, I bet that would sell like hotcakes. I love that. Oh.
All right, so we're going to move on to the discussion topic, which is it's about like kind of what are the good or bad smells that tell you it's a good or bad thrifting experience. Just because I think this is an episode about the senses, everyone. So who wants to go first?
I'll hit it.
You.
Yeah, Joe! Yay!
Oh damn. I
You
was
thought
just
Katie
like,
was going to dive in.
No. She was like throwing to you to go first. I'm going to throw to you too, Chris. You go first.
Oh man!
Yeah,
I
2 against 1. There you go.
I was hoping that we could.
This was your question. You seem to have something that
I don't-
specific
I don't
happened
know.
and rules
Well, I guess
about
part
smells.
of me is just like there's a like there's a smell, and it's basically just kind of like the smell of a place that has like slightly damp concrete floors.
Yeah, there we go.
We all know, and it's just like, and it has a light mildew smell, and
Yeah.
it can. I feel like if it's too dusty, it generally can be like, oh, they don't care, but it can be something great, But it's there's like there's something kind of like like I don't like that smell, but I've become kind of a sort of attracted because like those are the kind of places you want where people just kind of like they buy a bunch of stuff and just throw it in there and they don't really know exactly what the price is.
Like the bins. The bins are a little bit like that because they're not sorting, they're just dumping.
Right.
And so while there's danger attached to that, there's also sometimes money attached to that because there is often money in the pockets of things because they're not going through it like they would at a normal thrift store. But then there is also wet items, which then can smell like around it for much further than you'd think it would in a warehouse. Like it really can, one bad bag can like knock you out.
Exactly. There's also like kind of like it's kind of different smells for different things because you have like, I mean, I just remember going to the garage sales in the suburbs and it just like, I mean, it all just kind of smells like, grass, dew, morning, and I guess these, like, there's no real kind of good or bad things, but it's just like smells that you associate with thrifting that are kind of sort of unique to it. Like,
Yeah.
um, one of my favorite kind of places to find are similarly just there. It's a thrift store run entirely by women over the age of 60, who just, there's a couple of these places in in
Yeah.
LA, and if you those are usually just like the gold mines, because just like you find stuff that is just like, yeah, they don't know, they don't care, they're happy to get $2 for this thing they got for free. That is kind of my thought. Any Joe, why don't you go some
I would
places?
say if it smells like bleach or like if it smells like bleach or like, sort of lemon scented, cleaning product, you're
Hmm.
onto something, because it means that they are covering up a smell.
Mm,
Uh and
Yeah.
they care enough about cleanliness to actually take care of business, but they're
Hmm.
covering up a smell, like somebody pooped in the aisle or something like that, and or
Hmm.
maybe somebody bought in a bag of filthy, of a mildewy, of
Yeah.
garage clothes that are just overwhelming the place.
right,
Hmm.
So I feel like that's like that usually means good thrifting. But like my mom says, and like I will say over and over again, anything can be anywhere. So I won't, if it doesn't have that smell, I won't walk away. But it's like, it's always good to know that that's like, when it's there, you're like
right,
something. There's going to be something golden here, because it's a little bit
right.
like, it's disreputable enough to scare away a lot of
The hoi
a lot of
polloi.
the tourists.
Right.
Yeah. The pickers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
What about you, KT?
Yeah. Same. I would say the place that I've smelled smells like that the strongest have definitely been, I would say, the Goodwill bins in Panorama City,
Mm,
because it's a smaller area, and so when the bins, if a bin would come out with wet items, you knew it, and everyone would just stay away from that bin, and you kind of really couldn't even go near it because
got it.
it's
Oh,
damp. And
these are
so
clothes, I assume.
these are clothes.
Okay.
Specifically clothes.
Yeah.
And it's also, you can't get that smell out a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For I would say there's a very distinct smell. The place that I was talking about that I bought the frames earlier,
Yeah.
that place with the basement where the entire basement was different booths,
Mm,
that was a very distinct musty smell down
right.
there because it's a lot of uncleaned antiques, so
Right.
old items, lots of old records that have not been cleaned off, things like
Right.
that, just layers of dust. So,
Right.
and it is like it'll activate your allergies immediately when you go
Right.
down there because it's enclosed. But it's a lot of vendors and it's very vast. So it really just, if one place sort of has that smell, then definitely the 7 booths over, you still smell it.
Right.
It's
Right.
wild.
Right.
But I will
Yeah.
say the hardest thing that I found to get out, like, especially on clothing, is generally if somebody smoked inside. That's a
Oof.
hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to remove from clothing.
A friend of mine has, he's a drummer and he loves the smell of like smoke embedded into the wood of drums. It's just like, because he
Got
was
it.
like a kid of the 70s, and he also likes, like, I've seen him ask people to blow smoke in his face, because he's just like, he missed it. But
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
he's
that
just like,
makes sense.
fine. Like, do you think that Goodwill uses the same detergent to wash their clothes for every store? Is it a universal thing? Like, I know, like, I feel like Goodwill shirts
They
always
don't
kind of
wash
have
it.
us. They don't wash
They
it.
don't wash their clothes.
They don't wash it.
Don't they? I thought they kind of have a.
I don't think so.
Some stores do, but I don't believe Goodwill does.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Jeez.
think
Wow,
so.
you could just like basically go into be a prince's henchman from the 1990 Tim Burton Batman movie.
How many hats are there?
I mean,
Do
in
they
this
smell?
stack, I have one,
And these are all Tam O'Shanters.
two. No, they're not. Well, these are
Okay.
all like beret slash. This one has got some buttons on it. Three.
Yeah.
And then this one is, let's see, yeah, four, which is, this is just more of a, it's got a little
That's a
frill,
look, though. That's a look.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
also got like a button on it, so you can like, if
Is
you
that
have like a
crocheted?
less pronounced
Is that a
jaw, you
crocheted
can like,
hat?
You should crochet
Fascinating.
some goggles to be a crochet
You
aviator.
should. Yes, please.
There we go.
Wow.
That is.
Yeah, that's the thing about like I don't envy Joe much, but his ability to wear hats is unparalleled.
Yeah, you
Like, you-
really do. You've got a hat face. You're very lucky. That's a gift from God.
It's true.
Voice for
You're
radio,
really-
face for hats.
And I'm bald, so it's always a good excuse to wear hats.
Are you good? Can you wear sunglasses too? Can you kind of wear any pair of sunglasses?
I haven't really tried that much, but I think.
Oh, I'm curious. You better not be able to, because I have a very specific, like, if they're wrong for me. It's like, oh, what happened?
Hello.
Then, yeah, it's like one shape and one shape only. But I've seen people out in the wild that can just sort of be like, oh, I'll put these on for fun, and they just look great in
Right.
any ones, even the little Beatles one. It's like that's enough.
Yeah,
That's enough.
I think, guys, I think we did it. I think we did another A+++ episode, gold stars and thumbs up for everyone.
Good for
I think-
us.
Yeah, I think we did it. Okay, Joe.
Oh,
Now,
that.
now he's just showing off. I don't. Jesus.
Do this. Yeah. It's a synchronized swimmer's hat. A little bit. Like a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's good. That's
but
good.
Thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe, everyone. Tell a friend.
Share, and subscribe.
I can't do anything right for Joe. I'm good enough for Joe. You should see what he does when we get off this thing.
Where's my disciplinarian hat?
He just sends me angry pictures of him like I'm not angry, I'm disappointed is what I wake up to Joe texting me, and I didn't even talk to him the night before.
That's devastating.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but thanks guys, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye everybody. You've been a wonderful audience.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for coming, everybody.
Don't you see the difference in the difference that you make from the cops that you put to the names that you take? You got ladies and bees all giving you honey, and you whack more balls than the cover of money. You know Melissa Cherry doesn't do porn. To get funky and do the popcorn, eat your paws from China, or so they say.